Okay, you rented our camper, so now what? This video serves as a virtual walkthrough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take you through the camper, show you how to use everything. That way, if you're watching this video, I've probably sent you here to watch it because you and I weren't able to hook up in person. So that's the purpose of this video, is to give you the walkthrough so you know how to use everything. And then of course, if you have any questions, you can always contact me either through the app or at my phone number that I've probably given you by now. So all right, let's start with the outside. We don't want to waste too much time. Essentially what you have under this cover is the propane, and with that you just lift the cover off, and there's two propane tanks. And the way we have it set up is we guarantee that one tank is always going to be full for you. And there's a little switch right here that allows you to switch between tanks. So right now it's set at this tank, and you can switch it to this tank if you need it. So essentially what you do is, if you find you're running out of fuel or you ran out of fuel, just simply swap it over to the other tank, turn on the valve, and you're ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the valves right now because we're actually getting ready to take this thing away. So that's the propane. This here is the tongue jack. You shouldn't have to play with it the whole time, because if I left the camper for you, I've already leveled it, and essentially it should be level and ready to go. You shouldn't have to play with this. If you want a light though, however, there is a little light switch right here just to give you a little light at night in this area, because if you're renting this camper at one of the North Carolina state parks, either at Jordan Lake, Falls Lake, or Carr Lake, it's very dark at night at these places. So every little bit of light always helps. All right, so let's take you around to the outside here. There's two outside compartments on this camper. One of them is here, and this one is what they call a pass-through. It goes all the way through to the other side, and we just usually store the broom, dustpan, mop in here. We store a spare table. We store the rugs in here. If I haven't set the rugs up for you, you'll find them in here. And there's also some marshmallow sticks if you want to toast marshmallows at night. We've got a couple of these marshmallow sticks in there. So that's what you'll typically find in here. On the other side, there's a cooler that I've got a bunch of tools stored in. So it serves two purposes. If you need an extra cooler, feel free to dump out the tools and use the cooler as you need. Otherwise, that cooler does contain a bunch of tools. The tools are mostly for what I use when I'm setting up the camper. We use a drill to raise and lower the jacks and that kind of stuff. So let's continue on. Right here you've got an outside outlet. So if you're connected to power, which this camper is, you have two outlets out here. If you want to set up the table against the camper here, you can use it for electronics. You can use it for whatever you want. It's a 110 regular household 110 outlet. This here you probably won't use. This is just simply a cable connection. If you wanted to connect into, if the camper was connected to cable TV, you would have that as an additional source to get that cable TV. Because a lot of people may want to set up a outside entertainment system out here, and that would allow you to tap into that. You can see they left the light on. We're actually here to pick up the camper, so they left the light on, and it's full of bugs. So I did warn them about the bugs. I'll tell you, the light you control from the inside. That light out there is bright white. It is extremely attractive to bugs. So just bear that in mind. If you want to use it, you're going to attract a lot of bugs if you do use it. But it does throw a lot of light into this area of the campsite. All right, moving back here, we've got this is just simply a fill valve for water. Let's say, for example, you are staying at a site that doesn't have any hookups and you run out of water. You can always go down to the local grocery store, buy 5 gallons, 10 gallons, 50 gallons, whatever you need water. You can use it to fill in here. Inside the front compartment, you'll find a funnel that you can stick in here and pour the water. That will buy you a little bit more It basically puts fresh water into the tank. This here is a quick connect for a water hose that we include with the camper that allows you to have a water hose to use. It's only about 10 feet long, so it doesn't, I like to use an example. Maybe you want to wash your dishes out here so you don't put water into these storage tanks. That's where you can get that. All right, back here is the other compartment, and back here we store all of the chairs. We store extra power outlets. There's a gas grill in here, a step stool in case you need it. Back there in those black containers are, if you do want to wash dishes, I always suggest, again, at the state park campgrounds in North Carolina, at the Three Lakes in the Raleigh area, there are no sewer hookups. So I suggest, because everything that goes down the drain inside the camper goes into the holding tanks, and you can only put so much water in those tanks before they fill up. So I always suggest high water use things like showers. Go use the bathhouses at the campground. For dishwashing, we've included these things so you can actually do your dishes outside. That way you can use all the water you want and none of it goes into the waste tanks because you're doing your dishes out here outside on the ground. So we have included those for that. Now these lights inside these compartments have a switch on them. They can either be motion activated or they can stay on all the time. So it's a kind of a rocker switch. So 0 is off, 1, the light stays all the time, 2, it's motion activated and will only turn on when it detects motion. So every compartment has those style lights. Okay. Let's see, this is our electrical connection. You shouldn't have to play with that once I hook it up for you. This is your water connection. I do include a splitter in the toolbox and some spare hoses in the back compartment. So if you do want to do a split and connect an outside hose, you can certainly do that. I do include those as part of the rental. This is the electrical box. Essentially all this is, you know, once I connect it for you, you pretty much just leave it alone. If for whatever reason you use too much power, let's say, because it is only a finite amount of power that goes into the camper. It's only 30 amps. It's about 3,600 watts if you think of in terms of watts. If you happen to use the air conditioner, the microwave, someone's using a hair dryer, and you use a lot of high-powered things all at the same time, you're probably going to kick a circuit breaker. There are breakers inside the camper. I'll show you where they are. You could kick the breaker out here, these breakers, you can check that. And sometimes the breaker inside this box will also get tripped, and you may have to unplug it and plug it back in and reset it. So it's kind of a troubleshooting thing. If you do happen to kick a circuit breaker because you're using too much power, you'll check the breakers in there, check the breakers here, and then check this box to make sure everything is working to get it back running. So it has happened before with renters. Let's see, moving up here, this is nothing to worry about. This is a black tank flush. This is something we use when we're maintaining the camper. It's nothing you need to worry about. Here is the other side of the compartment. So we have our water connection. This is where the water connects into the camper. And then this is a power shut off for the whole camper. There is an extra outlet here for whatever reason if you may need it. If your campsite does include cable, the cable coming from the campsite goes into the camper in here. And then here's the toolboxes that we have. And then these are just leveling blocks that we use to level the camper. Kind of curious why that's so wet. So, anyway, let's move inside. They must have used the leveling blocks for some reason. Maybe they leveled the table or something. Okay, so moving inside the camper. Let's go ahead and go on in. Go ahead and shut off the, well, do that in a minute. So, I apologize real quick on the appearance of the camper. We're actually filming this on a morning that we're picking up the camper, so you're gonna see the beds are not made and all that stuff, so just ignore that. All right, so moving from the back of the front of the camper, right here you've got your two bunk beds. You can fit 2 adults in these beds. It's kind of cozy. They're not quite as wide as a double bed, but they're wider than a twin. So you can get 2 adults in here. I've tested them. 2 adults my size, and I'm not a small person. We can fit in there just fine. But it is cozy. In this compartment over here, we include a lot of games on a rainy day. Those are kind of a fun thing to have. There's a closet there that you can put some stuff in if you need to. And then there's some drawers on the bottom if you want to put shoes and stuff in there. We have a couch right here that folds down to a bed. And to fold it down, you just simply lift it up and pull, and it drops down to a bed. And then to put it back away, it's kind of hard, but you got to push it, and it goes back away. This is the dinette. It also converts over to a bed. And to convert it to a bed, you simply lift straight up on the table. It's only held in. I'll remove this for a minute so you can see it. It's only held in. It's friction, so it's not a lock or no hinges or anything like that. You just simply lift straight up, and then the tabletop actually slides on top of these rails right here on either side, and this tabletop becomes the platform to fill in the bed, and then you just move the cushions around until all the cushions are flat and you've got a full bed surface. You can easily put 2 adults on this. I wouldn't think, you're definitely not going to do 2 adults on the couch. Probably 1 adult or 2 small children would fit there. All right, in the kitchen we have all of our appliances and whatnot. We have storage down here. We got a knife set, coffee maker, and toaster under there. This is the breaker box that I was telling you about. So if you do trip any breakers, you've got your AC house power on this side and fuses on this side. And the fuses would be basically like car power. So the lights in here and the fridge run off of the 12-volt fuse side of the electrical. And then the TV, microwave, and some of the other, the air conditioning runs off of the house power. So you have 2 different power systems going on at the same time. Alright, so we've got some pots and pans also down there. And the rest of the pots and pans are down here on this, in this drawer. So we basically include all the basics. Nothing over the top, but everything you need to do. We've got frying pans and pots, so most of all your stuff can be done. Alright, we have your silverware drawer here. We've got pot holders here. We include plenty of pot holders because this counter, and it's very important, this counter is nothing more than a plastic veneer on top of particle board. So if you put a hot pan or pot on this, directly on this counter, you're going to melt right through it, and the cost, or the only fix is a whole new counter. So, and they're not cheap. So we've included plenty of pot holders. You can put pots on, and inside one of these compartments there's also cooling racks, which are metal racks that can sit on the counter and hold the pot above the counter so it doesn't melt. Alright, so we keep the remote for the TV inside this drawer, and the keys to the camper we keep inside this drawer in case you want to leave and lock it up on your way out. And with the keys, there's 3 keys on it. The black key does this door, the purple key does the door in the bedroom, and this round key does the compartments that are outside. TV is a Roku TV, so there's no internet connection native to the camper. If you want access to the internet, my suggestion is turn on the hotspot on somebody's phone in your party, and then you can connect this TV to your hotspot, and then you can watch all your streaming services on this TV. If you're familiar with Roku or Roku TVs, this works exactly the same way. Let's see. These cabinets include basically all of your dishes, cups, bowls, plates, you name it are in here. Everything is plastic except for the coffee cups. Everything is plastic for an obvious reason. When we're hauling this thing down the road, it's shaking all over the place, and sometimes these cabinets do open up. We do include a small set of spices for you, so it gives you, the basics. This is something you can get at Walmart. So the most commonly used spices are in here, and then some salt and pepper, and some coffee supplies to go with the coffee maker. Microwave is just a standard microwave. There's nothing special to it. It's just a plain old electrical microwave. This dish towel. The stove here works very similar to a grill. First and foremost, you got to make sure this cover is not down. If you put a pot on this glass and light the flame, you'll shatter the glass almost instantly. So this is here just to create an extension of the countertop. If you're not using this to cook, you can use this as extra counter space. When you're using it to cook, you got to raise the glass. That exposes the burners. And to use them, it's like a grill, so there's a sparker. So you just turn the gas on, and then you light the flame. I'm going to shut that off because I did turn off the gas out there, so it's not going to last long. So basically, turn the gas on, spark it, the flame comes on. Down here, the stove is a little trickier. Under here, there's a pilot light that has to be lit before you can do the oven. And the way you light the pilot light, this is the oven control. You have to press and hold this in to get the gas to flow. While you're holding this in, you spark the flame. Now, it's not going to light right now, but if you point the camera down in there, you can see the flame sparking. And eventually you'll see the pilot light turn on. Once the pilot light turns on, you can turn the knob and get the desired temperature. And then when you turn everything off, the pilot light will actually shut itself off, and you have to go through the whole process again when you turn it back on. So if you have any questions about the oven, feel free to contact me. The oven part is a little bit tricky, but if you follow those steps, you should be able to get it to light. Underneath this door here, there's manuals on how to use everything in the camper. Let's see. Obviously, refrigerator, freezer. This freezer is cold enough to hold ice cream, so feel free to bring all the ice cream you want to the campsite. Other than that, fridge is a fridge. It does run off of 12-volt power, so. Okay, so moving on. We've got some cleaning supplies underneath there that kind of fall into the back, but extra trash bags, cleaning supplies, all that stuff is back there. As well as a dish drying rack. It's kind of rolled up on the floor there, but that's a dish drying rack for the sink. Oh, they did use all the paper towels, so we got to make sure we put a roll of paper towels in. Obviously, sink is normal, regular everyday sink. There's really nothing to it there. The thermostat, and the way you turn this thing on and off, you got to press and hold this button. I'm going to go ahead and shut it off because we got to get it ready to go. So I just shut it off. Once you want to use it to turn it back on, you press and hold it, it'll come on, and then you can press this again to, well, I'll just demonstrate it. Alright, this is how you turn it on. It comes on, it's on cool mode, and if you want to change the mode, You just change it. That's to heat. That's to fan. That's dry. That's if you just want to, you don't really want to change the temperature. You just want to get the humidity out of the air. And then it's back in cool mode. You can adjust the fan speed here. You got high, low, and automatic. High and low, the fan will run all the time. Automatic, the fan only runs when the air conditioner and the compressor is running. So that's usually the mode I keep it on because it's obviously pretty noisy. And then to control the temperature, the set temperature, see, it's 68, 69, 70. That's how you control the temperature. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off because we're getting ready to head out. In the bathroom here, typical bathroom sink. The only word of caution on this is this drain. There's no screen or anything to catch anything that comes through. So if you happen to drop a ring or something small in there, it's going in the tank and there's no way to get it out. I would have to drop the underbelly and drop the tank, and it would be a huge job to get anything out of there. That thing, whatever drops in there, better be pretty valuable if I'm going to go to that extent. And then, you know, we include a first aid kit and some bug spray up there. Under here we include hair dryer and some more bathroom cleaner in case you need that. Let's see, the shower is, get that out of the way. All right, I'm just gonna throw all the laundry on the floor. Nope, they've left their shampoo behind.
Oh no. Nah, it's a travel shampoo anyway.
Yeah. I'm just gonna throw it down there because it's gonna end up there anyway. Shower is pretty normal. We have changed the shower head over to one that's not low flow, not yeah, you're going to get a lot of water out of it. So I always suggest that if you are in the camper and you don't have sewer hookups, be very, very careful on how much you use this shower because you will fill up your tanks very, very quickly with this shower. Also, with the shower, well, I'll get into that in a minute. I'm going to put that down because we put that down to travel. Toilet. In order to use the toilet, it's actually it's a little bit different than a house toilet in that this trap right here is just simply a hole. When you press this pedal, the hole opens up and the water goes down into the tank. Okay? So what you want to do when you go to use the bathroom is you press it down a little bit and that will get the water to flow. It will fill up the water. Okay, then you do your business, and then when you're getting ready to, when you're all done, press it all the way down and everything goes down into the tank. So that's typically, that's how the toilet works. So essentially press it halfway down to fill it, all the way down to empty it. We also need to put more toilet paper in there. This is the master bed in here. There's something up there. I don't know what that is. Paper towel of some kind. This is the master bedroom in here. Essentially, you got closets on either side. You've got USBs on both sides, and you've got power outlets. So your USBs are here, power outlets are here, so you can charge your devices at night while you sleep. And then, of course, there's a closet on each side with a hang-up bar, drawer, and then you've got extra storage up there if you need it. And underneath this bed, if you just simply lift it up, we have some storage under here. We essentially keep all the sheets and blankets that you need for the dinette bed and the couch bed are in here. There's also sleeping bags if you prefer that. We also have a couple of air mattresses under here in case this isn't enough for sleeping. The air mattresses are mostly best when you're we also have a tent that you can rent for if this camper doesn't provide enough sleeping space for your party. We have a tent that we can rent you, and you probably saw it on the rental website, the option for the tent. We have a big tent. It's like 17 feet in diameter. It's a big round tent. Can easily fit those two queen size mattresses in there. You can even sleep more than that in that tent if you wanted to. So, but we just keep the air mattresses in here just in case you need it. I think, oh, the ceiling fans. If you're not using the air conditioning and you just want to get some airflow in here, you can open up these vents by simply turning that, and that lifts the vent. And then if you press this button, that turns on the fan and sucks air out. So it's a good way to get some airflow. And then but you don't want to leave these open when it's raining, because there's nothing to stop the rain from coming in here. So there's 3 of those vents. One of them is here, and this also acts as your bathroom vent if you want to vent the steam from coming out of here. So you've got one here, you've got one in the kitchen, and then there's one in the bedroom of these ceiling fan vents. Oh, the air conditioner, when you've got it on, there's actually a flap here that you can open and close. When it's closed, what it does is it sends all the air through these other vents that are spread through the whole camper. There's vents in every room of the camper, and when this thing is open, all of the air that the air conditioner produces is coming straight down here, right down into the kitchen. If you're trying to cool the camper down quickly, like say you've been out all day, you didn't run the AC, and you want the camper to just go from 90 something down to a comfortable level very fast, run it with this vent open like this, so all the air blasts through here. And then at night, when you go to bed and you want the air to be spread more through the whole camper, close it up. It runs more quieter with this vent closed, and then the air gets distributed through the whole camper. You just get less of it. For whatever reason, the way this is designed, you leaving this open gets the camper cooled down faster than leaving it closed. So, all right, the last thing we got to show you is the control panel. And that is right here. I'm going to open this door to get some air going in here. So you can tell the level of your tanks right here. So this BAT one, this tells you the level of the battery. But if you're plugged into a campsite, that will always stay full, because when the camper is plugged in, it's charging the battery. This button here shows you the level of the fresh tank. If the camper were set up not hooked up to a water connection, there would be water in that tank. When we have a connection, I leave that tank empty. And then there's 3 waste tanks on this camper. There's a black tank, which is the camper. Ooh, that one's full. There's a black tank. That is the tank that's underneath the toilet. And it's about 2/3 full, so it's bouncing. The gray one and gray 2, those are the gray tanks. I'm curious why they're reading different, because they are connected together with a pipe, and there's no valve between them, so the water should be going from one to the other. But anyway, there's 2 gray tanks on there. So the capacity of the waste tanks, if there is no waste connection for the camper, is black tank, you've got about 40 gallons. The gray tanks, you've got about 80 gallons that you can put down in there. And just reiterating, if you are at any of the North Carolina state parks, at any of the lakes in the Raleigh area, so Jordan Lake, Falls Lake, Carr Lake, none of those campgrounds have sewer connections. So all of the waste that's going down into the drains inside the camper are going into these tanks. And once they're full, they're full. There's nowhere else for the water to go but come up through. It's not a good situation. So if you're at a more than a 3-night stay, you have to be careful on how much you put down the tank. So you definitely want to conserve water in various ways, like doing your dishes outside the camper so the wastewater doesn't go down there, taking your showers at the campground bathhouses. Most campsites are not more than a 200-300 yard walk from a bathhouse, so I definitely suggest you use those if you have a longer stay. All right, enough about the tanks. The auxiliary, this one doesn't really apply to this particular camper. They use the same panel for all of this camper company's various campers that they have. All right, lights. You have ceiling light, that's the lights in here. And then exterior light, that's that little light bar that's outside the camper. And on the ceiling lights in here, it will light up all the lights that you see here. If the lights that don't light up by this switch have a button in the middle. If you just press the button in the middle, the light turns on, and press it again, the light shuts off. So there's several of those throughout the camper as well. There's one on each bed over here, there's one over the dinette, and there's several over the countertop in the kitchen here. The bathroom and the bedroom, the light switches are on the wall, like a house. When you enter the room, you look for the light switch on the wall. It's right there. Let's see. These 3 buttons are for the water system. These 2 here are the water heater. When you want to use hot water, you just press, if you're plugged into an electrical panel that's outside the camper, use the electrical water heater first. If you're not connected to a water or to electrical panel, you can use the gas. That will burn the propane that's on the camper, and it will heat the water using the propane. Now, under normal circumstances, washing dishes, washing your hands, that kind of stuff, the electric hot water heater is enough. The water tank is only about 6 gallons, so if you're taking a shower, you want to turn on both, and that way you can get enough hot water to what happens is if you don't use both when you're taking a shower, you're going to run out of hot water really quickly. Again, the tank is only 6 gallons, and it will simply just dry up and your water will turn cold on you. So if you're going to take a shower here in the camper, turn on both sources of power. That way the water heater can heat up the water fast enough to keep it warm while you're taking your shower. So otherwise, you can just leave the electric hot water heater on as long as you are camping with us, and then when I get here, I'm going to shut the hot water heater off. All right, these buttons here, these are for the slides. If I'm setting up the camper for you, you shouldn't have to touch this. That controls the slide out where the dinette and the refrigerator is. That moves that whole section in and out to get it ready for towing. You should never have to play with this if I'm setting the camper up for you. This one here is for the awning, and you have awning 1 extend, awning 1 retract. And basically you just press and hold it, and you'll see the awning go out. I'm going to go ahead and roll it straight out all the way. It's very wet. We had a lot of rain last night. So you basically roll it out until you see the little flap come down, if it doesn't stick. If it's wet, it sometimes sticks. Yeah, it should be coming down right now, and it's not. All right, so that is fully extended. Now if you happen to hold it too long and you extend it, it will start to roll back up the other way. Now that's rolling up backwards, so we want to now to retract it, you simply hold down this button until it comes all the way back in. Oh, the flap just came down. Alright, so that's the proper look of the awning fully extended. The little flap comes down, and that is all the way out. So to retract it, you just press and hold it until it stops coming in. And this roll right here will be tight against the camper when it's fully in. Now while that is rolling in, just give you a couple of bit of warning on the campers. these awnings are extremely fragile. They can't handle the weight of water on top of them. So if it's raining, you got to bring it in, unfortunately. There, it just came all the way in. It can't handle the weight of water on top of the awning. It can't handle any wind basically above 10 miles an hour. So if it's windy or if it's raining, that awning's got to come in. The awning, I can't stress to you enough how easily that awning can be damaged and or destroyed just simply by being caught in the elements and not being there. So if you're sleeping or if you're not going to be outdoors at the campsite, don't have the awning out. The awnings are about $4,000 to replace, and generally are not covered by the insurance that you purchase through the platform that you rented the camper through, because those platforms know how easily these things are damaged and how often they're damaged. They've just decided they're not going to cover awnings. So if you're nervous about the awning getting damaged, my suggestion, don't use it if you don't need it. If you feel like you need it, put it out, but do not leave it unattended. It's got to come in if you're not going to be out there watching it. And if the winds are high and it's raining, it's got to come in, because this thing cannot handle those things. So that's enough of my spiel on that. I'm just trying to make sure that we don't have a situation where you've got to buy a whole new awning, because yeah, they're not cheap. The last thing that we got to show you is the radio on this. Is your entertainment system, or your audio entertainment system for the camper. So just to turn it on, you just press that button there. The whole thing turns on. Right now it's flashing no link. That means it's looking for a Bluetooth. It has a Bluetooth connection, so you can connect your phone to this. Although if you connect your phone to this, you pretty much got to leave your phone in the camper. We've learned that if you bring the phone outside the camper, it very quickly loses connection with the phone and doesn't work well. So you'd have to sacrifice one phone to stay in the camper if you're going to use your Bluetooth and use this. Now, as far as the speaker goes, this is obviously the volume. This is your changing your tracks. So you can switch it over to AM or FM. Woo, that was loud. They had it loud. Either that or they didn't use it at all. So you can control your volume there. Now, you see this zone 1, zone 2? Zone 1 are the speakers inside the camper. Zone 2 are the speakers outside the camper. And you can turn them on and off individually. You can hear the speakers outside now. So if you turn them both off, you won't have any sound. Alright, so AM, FM, USB. I've never been able to connect anything to USB to get it to work. I'm not sure exactly what will work with that. But mostly you're going to use either Bluetooth or AM, FM. Or you could plug an HDMI source in there, probably a laptop computer with an HDMI cable. You can connect in there and do it that way. But other than that, that's pretty much the radio. And then to shut it off, you just press and hold it until it turns red. So that's pretty much it on the camper. If you have any questions, again, feel free to contact me either through the platform, or I should have given you my cell phone number in case you need to get a hold of me quickly. If you have any questions, problems, issues that come up during your stay, just let me know. I may not respond to you within a minute or two, because oftentimes if I'm not using the camper myself, I'm working, which is why you're allowed to, or you're able to rent it from us. So I may not get back to you for, it could be 30 minutes, hour, but other than that, we can get you going. So if you have any questions, just get in touch with me. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Other than that, enjoy your stay, enjoy the camper, and have fun.